Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today is initiation ceremony. Is this on? Yeah. Okay. Very subtle.
I didn't hear it.
Okay. So today's initiation ceremony, Bhaktivinoda Thakur describes the initiation in 5 parts. First, you receive your name, tilak, neck beads or branding, depending on your lineage. But something that identifies you as the servant of Krishna, mantra, and then the Archavigraha, or the permission to worship the Lord. So in ISKCON, we separate those two into 2 separate timings, or 2 separate initiations. Oftentimes we'll learn to wear tilak from those Shiksha Gurus, but they're empowered by our Diksha Guru and empowered by Srila Prabhupada. So before we begin, some people will get their neck beads and their name. Others will get mantra or already have had mantra and are participating in the final part of the ritual. Will be in 2 parts. First, what we'll do is we have to create the right atmosphere for the ceremony to take place. So what we do is called Punya Havachana, Vasudeva Punya Havachana, wherein we invoke the Sudarshana Chakra into the Kumbha. Sudarshana is known as the Kriya Shakti of the Lord, the divine will of the Lord. So if you want to be in line, just like when an ambulance is going down a traffic jam, everything moves out of the way. And if you're smart, you'll kind of get behind it, and you can go through that clear path and be aligned with the natural order of things. So in the same way, we want to be in line with the will of the Lord. So we invoke the Sudarshana Chakra. The Sudarshana is not just a ornament of the Lord, but it's the Lord directly himself. It's Krishna, it's Govinda, it's Gopi Janavallabha, is also the Sudarshana Chakra directly when he comes to do certain things in the material world. And sometimes we pray to him as Krishna, as Govinda, as Gopi Janavallabha, because he gives protection just like he does to the gopis. So we'll invoke Sudarshana into the Kumbha, do puja for him, and then we'll chant some final mantras, and then Marj will speak and begin the initiation process and put the neck beads. Would you like to do neck beads before talking? Okay. So then we'll have devotees who initiated devotees place the neck beads on behalf of Marj around the new initiates. But not just yet. First we have to create the right atmosphere, and then finally we'll perform the homa. So first we'll invoke Sudarshana into the Kumbha. Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Govinda 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 Bhagavagyaya Bhagavakankarya Rupam Asmin Shri Samsita Punya Havachanam Aham Karikishye. Om Shrim Hrim Klim Krishna Govinda Gopi Janavallabhaya Paraya Parama Purushaya Parama Hane Parakarma Mandrayantara Shra Asasastrani Sanghara Sanghara Rityo Mochaya Mochaya Ayor Vardaya Vardaya Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaya Diktre Jwala Pridaya Sarvadik Shobhanakaraya Hum Phat Paraprahmane Param Jyotishe Sahasrara Hum Phat Swaha Asram Samarpayami Padyoho Padyam Samarpayami Hase Aryam Samarpayami Mukhe Akshmanyam Samarpayami Snapayami Sanandram Akshmanyam Samarpayami Vasartam Akshatam Samarpayami Upavitam Akshatam Samarpayami Ganga Dharayami Haridra Kumkumam Samarpayami Akshatam Samarpayami Deepam Darshayami Swaprasho Mahatira Sarvada Smira Pahasabaya Vayantro Jyotir Tipo Yam Priti Griyantam Mahanaivedyam Nivedhayami Om Bhargavasva Tatsavidorvare Enyam Bhargo Devasiddhimhi Dhyo Yona Prachodayate Devasavidho Prasuva Satyam Dvatyana Prasenshami Om Amritopa Saranamasi Om Hranaya Swam Panaya Swam Vyanaya Swam Danaya Swam Samanaya Swam Om Brahmane Swaha Madhye Madhye Amritapanayam Samarpayami Om Amritopa Saranamasi Naivedyanandramachvanayam Samarpayami
Hartford Niranjana Swami. Om Dharvishna Paramam Padagam Sada Pashanti Soraya Divi Pachakshara Tatam Dabrivaso Vipanyava Jagravagum Sasamindate Vishnu Arya Paramam Padagum. Om Sudashnaye Vidmehi Heti Rajaya Dhimahi Tanashakra Prachodayate. Om Namachakraye Vidmehi Sastra Jwalaye Dhimahi Tano Astra Prachodayate. Om Shrim Hrim Klim Krishnaye Govindaya Gopi Janvalabhaya Paraya Parama Purushaya Parama Mane Parakarma Mantrayanta Tantara Astra Sastrani Sanghara Sanghara Vrityo Mochya Mochaya Ayor Vardaya Vardaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Mahasudarshanaye Ditre Jwala Pridaya Sarvadik Shobhanakaraya Hum Phat Parak Parahmane Param Jyotishe Sahasrara Hum Phat Swaha. So now we'll ask if we can start this, and everyone is here completely and fully focused. So we have to declare that this is the time to start. So I'll ask all of you in Sanskrit if we can start, and you'll respond in Sanskrit if you see that this is the time. Especially the initiates, you're going along with whatever's happening now. Now you're here and you're just surrendering to the process. But we need the permission of all the other Vaishnavas. And what you will say is Om Vachyatam. Repeat after me. Om Vachyatam. So this means to proceed with everything. Because we can pick a right date, we can pick so many things, but if all the Vaishnavas are not there, initiation is a community event. And so we need all the power of all the other Vaishnavas to move forward. So we have to create the proper samskar and send that vibration into the ground, into the heavens, the Naga's underneath, the Devatas in the sky. They should feel of what's happening and clear out the way. Or support it. So afterwards, I'll chant what's called Pancha Shanti mantras, or Shanti Panchakam, where there are 5 mantras that end in Shanti. And what does Shanti mean? Does anyone know? Peace. So the Gita describes there are 3 types of disturbances in this world. Those from within ourselves, natural occurrences, and from other people. And we want peace in those 3 realms. Even if they come, it's not that by chanting it nothing will happen, it will be completely peaceful, but we want to be peaceful in the face of all those obstacles. So I'll ask everyone to chant Om Shanti 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 after each of these verses. It's easy to catch on. So remember what was the answer to the question? Om Vachyatam. But that sounded really lame and without any energy. So we have to do it with strength and vigor. The thing with mantras, even if it's not pronounced properly, you have to do it with conviction, with full presence. It can't be lackadaisical. So it should be Om Vachyatam. Om Vachyatam. Okay, so when we do it for real, then you have to do it with even better. And while I'm chanting these mantras, I'll be holding this darba grass to the kumbha to create like an electric rod, taking all the prayers and putting it into this. Then we'll purify the area and then we'll start. No, come closer. Om Bhavadbhir Anugyatah Punyaham Vachayishye. Hari Om Shamna Mitra Shambharanah Shamna Bhavadbhar Yama Shamna Indra Brihaspati Shamna Vishnurarakrama Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayur Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishami Ritama Vadishami Satyama Vadishami Tanmam Avato Tadbhaktaram Avato Avato Mam Avato Bhaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shamna Mitra Shambharanah Shamna Bhavadbhar Yama Shamna Indra Brihaspati Shamna Vishnurarakrama Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayur Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvam Eva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadisham Pritamavadisham Satyamavadisham Tanmam Adhete Tadbhaktaram Adhete Adhemam Adhet Bhaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Saha Viryan Karavavahai Tejasvinavate Tamasoma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Purnamada Purnamada मुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ॐ दाक्ष्यं योरं प्रणीमहे गातुं यज्ञाय गातुं यज्ञपतये दैवे स्वस्तिरस्तु नः स्वस्तिर्मानुषेभ्यः ऊर्ध्वं च गातुमेषजं शं न अस्तु द्विपदे शं चतुष्पदे ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः ॐ ॐ ॐ आपो हिस्सामाय भुवस्नान उर्जितदातनाम हेरणाय चक्षुषे योभाशिवत्मोरसस्तस्य भाजयते हनः उषात्री इव मातरः तस्मारङ्गममा भय शिक्षाय यजमता भोजनाय तक्षण ॐ भूर्भुवस्सु भार ॐ Now we can have the devotees come forward to help place the neck beads around the initiates. Should be those who are already initiated.
Very good.
So, one last thing. You have to do Achman. So, in front of you, you have a cup with some water. And you take a little bit of, depending on the size of the spoon, put a little bit of water in your hand, in your right hand. Look at the water, invoking the mantra, Om Keshavaya Namaha. Namaha. Then refill it. Om Narayanaya Namaha. Namaha. Sit. Again. Om Madhavaya Namaha. Namaha. Sit. Then put a little in the water and let it run out your hands onto the ground. Just a minute. And then refill again.
sprinkle on your feet and on your head. So now chant this mantra, meditating on the lotus-eyed Lord. You become purified within and without by meditating on him. So at the end we chant Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu all together. Om Pavitro Pavitro Va Sarva Vastam Gato Viva Yasmare Kundrikaksha Sabhaya Abhyantara Suchihi Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu Om Dhar Vishnu Paramam Padagam Sada Pashyanti Suraya Dive Vachakshura Tatam Dabre Vaso Vipanyavo Jagravagum Sasamindate Vishnu Arya Paramam Padagum.
Om Jnana Timirandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chaksho Onmeditam Nina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Nangayate Garim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurundina Taranam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shanyavari Pastachade Satarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today we are having an initiation ceremony. Some devotees will be taking Harinam initiation, and some devotees will be taking Gayatri initiation, although some devotees have already received their Gayatri mantras long ago, but are sitting in the yagya getting their first opportunity since the time they received their mantras. And as appropriate to the occasion, I will speak a little bit about this event. I was thinking that first, I had mentioned yesterday, for those who are here, we were speaking from the verse Smartavyam Satatam Vishnu Vismartavyo Najatu Chit Savavidinasidasyo Etiyo Eva Kinkara. We quoted that verse, which explains that Krishna must always be remembered and he must never be forgotten, and all the vidhis and nishedas, all the rules and regulations or prohibited activities are meant to serve these two principles, to always remember Krishna. In fact, yesterday we give different examples of vidhis and nishedas. Vidhis are those prescribed activities which help us to fix the mind on Krishna. And the nishedas are those prohibited activities which are also meant to help us to become more focused and pure, so that we may be able to fix our minds on Krishna. And in the same way, devotees today will be accepting their vows, and contained within their vows there will be, hopefully, they'll be vowing to chant Hare Krishna, which is the most important. As we said yesterday, Srila Prabhupada, we quoted Srila Prabhupada as saying that the most important instruction from the spiritual master is chanting Hare Krishna. And then that is the prescribed activity for cleaning the heart. And there are prohibited activities, and the devotees will take their vows of those activities which they will not engage in after accepting the vows, although we have also been assuming that prior to the accepting of vows, they've also been following these principles, just as Brahma was explaining tapa, pundra, nama, mantra, and yoga. Then in the beginning there is austerity, tapa, and we accept the austerities of, as Srila Prabhupada explained, rising early in the morning, and also austerity is of thinking ourselves to be a servant of Krishna, is an austerity. It's part and parcel of the austerity. In fact, I oftentimes give the example that when I was in a lecture Srila Prabhupada gave in Mayapur, he was explaining a little bit about this tapa, this austerity. He said that we do not have to sit in cold water in the middle of the winter. We do not have to sit in a circle of fire in the summer. Although these appear to be severe austerities, he said they were not required for us. And he said our austerity is to follow the instructions of the spiritual master. That is our austerity. And I've always remembered that quote. I was fortunate enough to be there when Prabhupada said that. So to think ourselves as a servant of Krishna is in itself our austerity, and it's not so easy, but that's supposed to precede the formal vows that one takes at the time of initiation. In fact, we oftentimes quote the verse cited in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Shraddha Shabdhe Vishwas, Kahe Sujita Nischaya, Krishna Bhakta Kale Savakama Kritahaya. That Shraddha means firm, confident faith, that simply by chanting Hare Krishna, then all our subsidiary duties can be fulfilled. Conversely, we should also understand that even if we perfectly fulfill all our subsidiary duties and neglect chanting Hare Krishna, although they may appear to be perfectly executed, nonetheless they remain unfulfilled, because, as we know, the highest occupational duty, as spoken in Srimad Bhagavatam, is Savai Pungsam Paro Dhammo Yato Bhaktirid Hoksaje. That the highest occupational duty for all mankind is that by which men can achieve to loving devotional service. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted in order to satisfy the self. So, as we said, there is austerity, tapa, and our austerity is to follow the instructions of the spiritual master and to think ourselves as a servant of Krishna, which also includes in the execution of our prescribed duties. We should always be conscious of the fact that whatever prescribed duties we're performing are ultimately meant to help us to remember Krishna. Tasmat saveshu kalishu mama nusmara yujacha maya pratamano buddhya mam aisha shangshaya. As Krishna says to Arjuna, perform your prescribed duty of fighting, but at the same time you should think of me. So our prescribed duties are meant to help us ultimately to think of Krishna, to remember Krishna, which is the ultimate, our most important duty in life. Smartavyam satatam Vishnu. We spoke about that yesterday, so I thought maybe I should go back a little bit and bring up that point. Also, what was already mentioned was that we have divided the initiation into two processes. Previously, Upanayana, or mantra diksha, was given according to the Vedic process, which was the giving of the Gayatri mantra, the Brahma Gayatri mantra, which is also available not only in the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, but in many Vaishnava traditions. This Gayatri mantra is given. But we understand that in addition, according to our Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition, in addition to the Brahma Gayatri mantra, are also given the Pancharatrika mantras and Pancharatrika Gayatris, in addition to the Brahma Gayatri mantra. And therefore we are following the Pancharatrika system. Primarily we follow the Narada Pancharatra. And Pancharatra means 5 different types of knowledge. And the 5 different types of knowledge are the Vedic knowledge, then there's the yogic knowledge, Mayak, and then Mukti and Bhakti. Of course, our interest ultimately is in Bhakti. And Narada Muni, he heard the teachings of which were given to him. Originally, this says that the teachings of the Narada Pancharatra were given by the Lord to Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva in turn gave them to Narada Muni. And Narada Muni has outlined in his teachings of the Narada Pancharatra the essence of bhakti, and it is said that contained within the Narada Pancharatra is the means by which one becomes free from the influence of birth, death, disease, and old age, and also it helps us to become fixed, our consciousness fixed on Krishna. So part and parcel of the Pancharatrika system that we follow is, in addition to the Brahma Gayatri mantra, where we said there's the Pancharatrika mantras and Pancharatrika Gayatris, and also there is this Tapa Pancha Samskara, which we have already heard a little bit about, which is Tapa, and Pundra, which is the marking of the body of Tilak, Vaishnava Tilak, and as we already said what Tapa is, and then marking the body with Vaishnava Tilak, and then Nama. And Nama, of course, is when the devotee is given the holy name of the Lord, and the most essential element, of course, is the holy name of the Lord. And in fact, even when one receives the mantra diksha, the potencies of the mantra are there by the various elements of the mantra, but most important element of the mantra is Nama, because Krishna's name is there even in the Gayatri mantras. That's what gives the potency to the mantra. So it is Krishna's name, which is the 3rd step, and many devotees today, they will be receiving Krishna's name, the opportunity, and they'll take their vows, as we said, to chant Krishna's name, and they will also be given a name which will help them to remember Krishna. That's another part of Nam. Not only we take the vows to chant Hare Krishna, but also we have a name. Some devotees already have names, and but still, initiation is another important element. Ato gurum pranamyaivam sava svam vidivedicha. Prabhupada would quote the verse that it is the duty of every human being to accept Vaishnava initiation, to take initiation from a bona fide spiritual master, and to receive mantras from him. And so that is another part, which is the Nama. And then there is mantra for those who are receiving mantra diksha. The Gayatri mantras are given, and by chanting those mantras, it enables one to properly to engage in yaga, which is worship of the deity. And this is the process which is given by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. We are following the Pancharatrika system, and therefore there is a separation of Nama, the whole Harinam initiation, and Mantra Diksha. There is a verse, also Chaitanya Charitamrita, help me, I may have forgotten it. Krishna mantra hoite? Was it Krishna mantra hoite? Habe bhuvan mochan. Yes, Krishna mantra hoite, habe bhuvan mochan. Krishna nama hoite, habe Krishnera charan. Yes. Krishnera charan. Krishna mantra hoite. That the mantra is given, the Diksha mantra is given, and it's meant to help purify our existence, bhuvan mochan, to become free from contamination. Krishna nama hoite, pabe Krishnera charan. but the holy name of Krishna is meant to ultimately bring us to the lotus feet of Krishna. So most important is Krishna's holy name. And therefore, this is the most important aspect in chanting the holy name of the Lord, is the most important aspect. As we said, Srila Prabhupada gave it as the most important instruction from the spiritual master, and to take a firm vow that I will never give up chanting the holy names of the Lord. We oftentimes quote Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur from Sri Bhakti Loka, where he gives emphasis that what does it mean to follow in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. And he gives as the ideal example of Haridas Thakur. And he says that Haridas Thakur taught by his ideal example what it means to follow in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. And there's three elements. He says there is firm determination, there is never giving up the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, and compassion towards all living beings. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that if one is not careful, and if one tries to establish a new path and doesn't follow the path which has already been set by the previous acharyas, he says he cheats himself and cheats the whole world. He says he promenades on a new path and cheats himself. He says one should be very careful to avoid establishing a different path than that which has already been established by the previous acharyas. And then he gives Haridas Thakur as the example that by meditating on Haridas Thakur, that one becomes happy, he gains enthusiasm, strength, and courage by his example. And he says to meditate on Haridas Thakur's example of how he was greatly determined, how he never gave up the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, and how he was compassionate even to those who were trying to kill him. So he said this is what it means to follow in the footsteps. And he said specifically, he said this is the easy path. So we speak on this point because it's very important. What does it mean when Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that Haridas Thakur is teaching us the easy path to follow? Because if we look at the example of Haridas Thakur, it doesn't look so easy. Haridas Thakur was beaten through 22 marketplaces. And it was attempts to kill him. He was definitely subjected to a lot of torment because he was unwilling to give up the chanting of the holy name of the Lord, despite the fact that he was told that unless he did give up the chanting, unless he gave it up, that he would be beaten until he died. And if he survived, then people would understand, okay, if you survive this beating, then we will accept that you can chant the holy name of the Lord. Because obviously they felt they would never survive. So it wasn't easy, certainly. And why does Bhaktivinoda Thakur say that for those who are followers of the previous acharyas, they should set the easy path that the previous acharyas have established? He makes the point very clear that it's easy because if we compare what we have to go through in comparison to what they had to go through, by meditating on their example, it makes it easier for us. Just to think what Haridas Thakur went through. I oftentimes speak, and I know I've given this example here, and my own experience of having to undergo some difficulty, but by meditating on an example, I got strength, I felt satisfaction, enthusiasm by meditating on that example. And I give the example of what I experienced with in association of my godbrother Sridhar Maharaj when he came to Mayapur to give up his body. He wanted to take complete shelter of the holy name of the Lord. He And he was therefore requesting the devotees to come and to have kirtan in his room every night. And he was very determined. He said he was determined, he wanted it to live just long enough so that he could be there for the installation of Panchatattva, of which he took part. And shortly after the installation of Panchatattva, he departed. But he was very determined, he was going to get to Mayapur. And he also showed compassion. And I'll tell this little story of my own experience, which helps me to reflect on what is Bhaktivinoda Thakur saying, that if we meditate on examples of those who had undergo great difficulties and who showed great determination, enthusiasm, determination to go on chanting and to be compassionate, it's a very good example to follow, and it gives us strength, enthusiasm, and courage. So, example that I experienced was when Sridhar Maharaj was there in Mayapur. He had requested me to chant for him. And because previous to his coming to Mayapur, he would sometimes call me and ask me to come and chant with him. And I wasn't able to go the very last time, so I said, next time I see you, Maharaj, I'll come and I'll chant for you. And it just so happened that the next time I got the opportunity to see him was, and he was in Mayapur. And this was in 2004. So when he arrived, I embraced him and I received him. In fact, just last week, I happened to be going through my computer. I found this stash of pictures of myself with Sridhar Maharaj. I don't know how they got there, but there's about 25 photos. We were together in Mayapur. It was giving me great enthusiasm. It was just maybe a week before he departed. Anyway, so I embraced him and said, Maharaj, I didn't get to do it last time, but I'll do it this time. And I'll be available for you 24/7, whatever you want. And Maharaj was very, very happy. He smiled and he invited me to come for kirtan in the evenings in his room every night. The devotees would gather and have kirtan. And some evenings I would lead, some evenings I would just sit and chant with the devotees. And one evening I had a terrible headache, and it was really bad, and I didn't think I was going to make it for the rest of the day, so I wrote a little note to Mayapur, who was Sridhar Maharaj's servant, and I said to Mayapur, please tell Maharaj to forgive me. I know he wants me to come in the evening, but I have such a terrible headache tonight. I don't think I'm going to make it. And I sent the message to Mayapur, and I started walking back to the room. And as I was walking back to the room, I started to think, Sridhar Maharaj is lying in bed with terminal cancer, and he's having kirtan, taking shelter of the holy name every night, and I've got a headache? What's my headache in comparison to what? You know, he's chanting every night with the door. He couldn't dance. Sometimes he was dancing with his arms. This is him. He would tell the devotees, please forgive me. I can't get up and dance, but I'll dance with you with my arms. And he would go back and forth with his arms like this. And so just by meditating on Sridhar Maharaj, I started to think, what's my headache in comparison to what he's going through? I immediately turned around and I went back to the room. So meditating on that example gave me enthusiasm and helped me overcome my headache. But that didn't stop there. When I came to the room, I opened up the door, and the room was filled with devotees, as they usually were every evening for kirtan. And Maharaj was lying in bed, and he looked up and saw me at the doorway. And he said to me, Niranjana Maharaj, he said, come here. And I didn't want to disturb the devotees in the room was full. And I said, Maharaj, it's okay, I'll stay here. And he got up, and he took his hand and slapped on the mattress. He said, no, you come sit right here. You know, he's my senior godbrother. Of course, I couldn't refuse. And of course, I was a little bewildered. I didn't know what he expected from me. I thought maybe he wanted me to give a lecture or something like that to the devotees. And that's why he asked me to sit next to him. But as it turned out, that wasn't his intention. As soon as I sat down, he turned to Mayapur and said to Mayapur, "Give me the tiger balm." And he took the tiger balm, and he sat there, and it started massaging my forehead. And he went on and did that for at least 15, 20 minutes. All the devotees were having kirtan, and I was sitting there with Maharaj. I said, "Maharaj, you got a lot of strength there, And I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. So not only was he very determined, not only was he constantly chanting, but he was compassionate even to a fallen soul like me. He was thinking of my headache. Here he was with terminal cancer, but he was thinking of my headache. Just as Haridas Thakur, when the tormentors were beating him, he saw them in great anxiety, and he was asking them, "Why are you in so much anxiety?" And the tormentors said, "We're in anxiety because we've been told to beat you to death. It's been 22 marketplaces and still you haven't died." And Haridas Thakur was asking, "Why are you in so much anxiety?" And he said, "Because if you don't die, we'll be beaten to death." So he felt compassion for them, even in the midst of his own torment. And that is what our Vaishnava acharyas have. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that's what it means to follow in the footsteps of previous acharyas, is that we should be greatly determined. We should be so determined, as Haridas Thakur has told the Qazi, he says, "You can cut my body to pieces, but I'll never give up chanting Hare Krishna." And that was his statement, and he didn't, because even after being beaten after 22 marketplaces, and when his perpetrators were saying, "You have to die," and he said, "Oh, you want me to die? Okay, I'll die." And by all external appearances, it appeared that he gave up his life heirs, and externally appeared to be no longer living, but actually internally he was chanting the holy name of the Lord. And he was lifted up. Gradually he was carried into the river, and then he floated down the river and came up on the banks of the river and stood up and began chanting again. He never gave up chanting. So that was he was compassionate. So a Vaishnava still, even against his tormentors, he feels compassion towards them. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur teaches that just in the song Kabhi Havi Bolo Se Dinamar Aparada Gucci Shuddha Namaruchi, where he says, "So when will that day be mine? When I'll have a taste for the holy name of the Lord? Will it be increases? When my offense will be ceasing? When in my heart will your mercy shine? When will I feel myself to be more tolerant than a blade of grass? Feel myself lower than the blade of grass, more tolerant than the tree? When will my mind attain that tranquility? When will I actually, by the mercy of the holy name?" He's praying in this way, teaching us how to properly chant the holy name, and then by chanting the holy name, ultimately he says that when will I set out to execute your order and be compassionate upon all the conditioned souls, and to spread the glories of the holy name of the Lord, which is Jiva Doya. When will I be merciful to all other living beings? So he's teaching us the importance of chanting properly and with a proper mood. And therefore, of course, for those who are chanting the holy name of the Lord, taking their vows today, Srila Prabhupada would oftentimes speak about the 10 offenses to the holy name of the Lord. Namaparada yukta nam namanyeva harantigam avishanti paryuktani tanye varta kritani cha. This verse is from the Padma Purana. This is the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It is recommended for those who are even committing offenses, because if they simply go on chanting, gradually they will become free from offenses. Now, of course, we also understand the states in the Shastra. What is it? We chant that prayer every morning. One commits offenses while chanting the holy name of the Lord. Bahu Jamakari Hari Shravana Kirtana Tabutana Pai Krishna Paripremadana. Yes. If one is chanting the holy name of the Lord, if he's committing offenses, even for millions of births, he'll never get the ultimate goal of this chanting. So, of course, the ultimate goal of chanting, which is firmly established by Haridas Thakur, again, is the ultimate goal of chanting is to be situated at the platform of Shuddhanam, offenseless, not only offenseless chanting, but to actually establish in the platform of pure love of God. So, but if we go on chanting the holy name of the Lord with a desire to become free from these offenses, we understand there's first the offensive stage, and there is the clearing stage. And in the clearing stage is the stage whereby we try to become very determined and pray for the mercy of Sri Nam, pray to the mercy of the holy name, that we can become freed from these offenses and become freed from these attachments which are obstacles in the path of the holy name of the Lord. And by going on chanting the holy name of the Lord in great determination with a desire to become freed from these offenses, then gradually one can come to the platform of chanting the holy name of the Lord purely. Therefore, we should be very careful to know what the 10 offenses are. In fact, one of the offenses of the holy name of the Lord is to not even know what the offenses are. So, therefore, everyone should certainly know what the 10 offenses are. Maybe we should ask one of our Brahmins to tell us what the 10 offenses are. Uh-oh. I'm going to ask Ananda Rupa, because today she's taking second initiation. Can you tell us what the 10 offenses of the holy name of the Lord are?
To blaspheme those devotees who are dedicated their lives to the chanting of the holy name of the Lord. To consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name Lord Sri Vishnu. To commit, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. To consider fourth one is
literatures, Vedic literatures. I put you on the spot, didn't I? Anyone want to help her? Shamakund? The blasphemy of the Vedic literatures are literatures in pursuance of the Vedic version.
Yeah. To consider the chanting of the holy name as imagination, and to use an interpretation of the holy name to Lord. To consider chanting as one of the ritualistic activities given in the Vedas as to consider chanting of the holy name as one of the ritualistic activities given in the Vedas as fruitive activities, karma kanda.
You missed one, but it's okay. I'm sure you'll catch it. Catch it on the return.
To instruct a faithless person about the holy names of the Lord, and to not have complete faith in chanting of the holy name, and to keep material attachments even after understanding so many literatures on this matter. Which one I missed now?
Yes, missed one. Seventh one.
Seventh one. Some interpretation of the holy name of the Lord.
Anyone want to help her?
Sin on the strength of the hand.
Commit sinful activities on the strength of the chanting of the holy name. Yeah. Anyone who considers to be a Vaishnava must carefully guard against these offenses.
Thank you. Rasanath, maybe you can tell us a little bit about these offenses. A little.
I've heard Ravindra Sutra speak on the 10 offenses, and he says that the first one and the last one to last one, the devotees who dedicated lives for propagating the holy names. And the last one, to maintain material desires, given after understanding so many instructions on this matter. He says that somehow all the offenses are bookended between these two. And if you're very, very careful about the first and the last one, then he mentions how the rest of them actually take care of themselves.
Does that mean you only have to speak about the first one?
I think, especially the last one, maintaining material desires, I feel you have to be so vigilant and so attentive, because under the guise of devotional service, many times we are actually watering material desires in our heart. And I've personally seen that when I chant every morning, I have amazing ideas for services. And when I look at them very closely, I see how they are in some ways watering some form of prestige, some form of identity that I'm deeply attached to. And it's very disheartening. And then I have to ask Krishna to forgive me as I'm chanting. So, yeah, that's something I wanted to share. That's something that I struggle with a lot. And I hope one day that I can fully rid myself of it.
It's just as was it Lord Chaitanya's instructions to Rupa Goswami? Pramanda Brahmate Gona Bhagavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasadi Bhai Bhakti Lata Beach. He describes the watering process. When you water, you have to water the Bhakti Lata Beach, and when you're watering the Bhakti Lata Beach, then not only does the devotional creeper grow, but if one is not careful, the weeds will grow. And sometimes the weeds will even grow faster than the devotional creeper. So he makes the point very clear that one has to be very careful to make a distinction between what is the weed and what is the devotional creeper. If he can't make the distinctions, then the weed will gradually grow faster than the devotional creeper and will choke the plant. So the expert gardener knows that if you don't take care of the weeds and you let them grow luxuriantly around your plants, in due course of time, not only will they soak up all the nutrients, take away all the sunlight from the plant, but before you know it, the devotional plant will be choked. So therefore one has to discriminate. Discriminate means we have to see what are those obstacles in the path of devotional service. That's part of the purifying process. And therefore, when we understand what are those obstacles in the path, we should also know that only by the mercy of Sri Nam, only by the mercy of the holy name of the Lord, can we ever hope to actually become freed from these obstacles in the path of devotional service. Therefore, like a child crying for its mother, we have to feel helplessly dependent on Krishna in that way. That I can't get rid of these myself, but you have to help me, and I'm completely dependent on you. Yes. So, yes, that's the process. So you've got it right. You've got it right. Something else?
I feel that at the end, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that anybody who, inattention ultimately is the root of all the 10 offenses. And it's a constant battle to bring the mind back to just, the Prabhupada said, just try to hear yourself chant sincerely. It's a daily battle. And over time I've only recognized that I have to learn to like the battle. I pray to Krishna to have taste for the battle, so that then through the battle, then the taste for the holy name can actually.
At least the battle is there. If there was no battle, then you would have been defeated. Waving the white flag. Surrendering to the wrong master. Stay in the battle. P.R.I. Mohan Prabhu, would you like to say something?
Let's see. First of all, I'd like to thank Niranjana Swami for taking on this burden, the burden of love, to help all of these nice devotees to progress in their spiritual life. Initiation is a very, very important thing. You know, Krishna says you accept the bona fide spiritual master. So this is part of the process to going back home, back to Godhead. I'm happy that so many people are doing this, taking this very Krishna consciousness very seriously, and taking these vows seriously. They, first of all, as Maharaj pointed out, have been following these rules and regulations for a year or so, or more, and so now they're qualified to actually take these vows for the rest of your life. And it's a wonderful thing to see that so many people in our community are taking Krishna consciousness seriously enough to come to this point. And I hope this may also inspire others who are not yet initiated to also to start chanting at least 16 rounds a day and following the regulated principles. And in time, in a couple of years, whatever it may be, keep doing it, keep this fight going, this struggle, and then also get initiated. And we'll grow the Lord Chaitanya's army this way, and everywhere we go, we should be representing Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya and try to tell others also about this Krishna consciousness. And this way Krishna consciousness will spread more and more. And this is what will please Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada wasn't just happy with just a few disciples in one place, but he wants the whole world to become Krishna conscious. So this is a big job, but it's been gradually increasing more and more. And it seems to be like if you get one person to become Krishna conscious and then they get another person, then it's going to increase. So
exponentially.
Thank you. It's also like multi-level marketing. You make someone a devotee, you preach them, and then they make progress, you get some of the benefit. And it's all taken care of, how much benefit, percentage-wise, how many lines it goes down. But Krishna takes care of all that. But we shouldn't be doing it for ourselves, we should be doing it to please Srila Prabhupada. And Srila Prabhupada has given us Krishna consciousness, given us a life that can be relatively free from difficulties. There's always difficulties. But if you actually take the Krishna consciousness, those difficulties become very, not very, like with Lord Chaitanya's mercy. A blind man can climb mountains. A literate man can write poetry. Anything can happen. So it becomes, and a difficult thing becomes very easy. And without his mercy, an easy thing can become very difficult. So if we continue surrendering to Krishna, our life will become very, very nice. In this material world we're here, but we can be in the spiritual world. We don't have to be in the material world. It's not a geographical location that you're in, now you're in the material world. But you can be in the spiritual world because of your consciousness. It's where your consciousness is at. Srila Prabhupada said, I've never left or Vrindavan. He's always thinking of Vrindavan. He's always thinking of his spiritual master. He's always with his spiritual master. So if we're on the spiritual platform, we can always be happy even though we're in this material world. So this is a process that Srila Prabhupada has given to us, and I know personally for myself, I can't even imagine where I'd be, and I don't even want to imagine where I would be if I didn't take the Krishna consciousness, but I know it wouldn't be very, very nice, wouldn't be very exciting. It would be just chewing the chewed, as Brahma says. And you chew the chewed enough and it just doesn't do anything for you. So this material world, it's not a nice place, certified by Krishna, it's not a nice place. And so we have to surrender to Krishna through Srila Prabhupada. And all he does for giving us, not just giving us a much better life here now, but giving us the spiritual world at the end of this life. For this, all he's asking is for us to tell other people about this, because he wants everyone to be happy. Not just a few, we just keep it for ourselves, but he wants to share it with others, so we have to also have that consciousness to try to repay the debt of getting initiated. This is the main thing that Prabhupada would want. And of course Prabhupada's disciples would want. So therefore that's one of the things we have to take seriously about even initiation, or even if we're not initiation, we could be thinking about this, how I can tell others about Krishna consciousness. You don't have to be initiated to do it. But if you are initiated, that's like a responsibility you should take up. So I'm very happy. This is our first initiation in our new building here. And it's a lot of devotees have attended. I wouldn't be very happy if we were doing this in our old building. But here it's comfortable. We have rooms. Anyway, I don't want to tell you about how unhappy I was. Having programs in the old temple with 100 people, and it's so small, and every Sunday I wanted to be somewhere else.
Tapa.
So by Krishna's grace, he's gotten us this nice facility, which we are still working on, and if anyone wants to donate towards the construction.
It's a good time.
Anyway, that's all I got to say. If I can get to a serious note, I'm very, very happy that all of these devotees are taking this seriously, taking the next step in their spiritual life. And I hope it does encourage others to also come to this point. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Very well. One last point I oftentimes emphasize that Prabhupada states in the Nectar Devotion that initiation means the beginning. And I try to remind the devotees that we should never think that initiation is an end in of itself. It's actually the beginning. And Prabhupada, I really like how he gives that example in the Chaitanya Charitamrita when Mangala the hunter broke his bow. When he was concerned, how will he maintain himself according to his previous method of living? Narayana Muni said, break your bow. And Mangala the hunter broke his bow, and because that was his means of living prior to accepting Narayana Muni's merciful instructions. And Prabhupada said in the purport, this breaking of the bow this is initiation. He breaks his identification with the materialistic way of life, and he's beginning the path of living a spiritual life. So when the devotees receive their beads and their names today, everybody please give their blessings and encouragement so that they may begin their spiritual life in this next phase of their spiritual life, accepting their vows and receiving their spiritual name with enthusiasm and with the blessings of the devotees who are present. It will also give them encouragement and strength to continue the journey, the long journey they have to continue to make their lives successful. So we should call the initiates now, and then you'll do them. Yes? Okay. So we will call the initiates. I think we have 3 couples today, so what we'll do is we'll have the couples come together. Sorry, the names are buried inside the bags. Okay, this is Deepak, and this, I guess, should be Trupti. So maybe both of you can come together. And sit here, so you're facing the deities. Okay, so what vows are you accepting today?
Chant 16 rounds. No meat, no eggs.
How often?
Fish. Holy name.
How often?
Every day.
Just checking.
Chant 16 rounds daily. No meat, no fish, no eggs. No intoxication. No gambling. No illicit sex.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Trupti, what vows are you taking today?
I will chant 16 rounds daily. I will not eat fish, eggs, meat, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication.
Okay. Thank you very much, both of you. All right, so now we'll give you your beads and your name. And actually, I have them here. I have to get the right beads here. Okay, here it is. I've got these bead bags here, confusing things. You can take your bead bag. So on behalf of Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Parampara, I'm accepting you today as my initiated disciple. And we have given you a very, very, I feel, beautiful name. You don't, no, it's not what P.R. suggested. We won't say what P.R. suggested. Your new name is Dulal Krishna Das. Dulal Krishna Das, darling Krishna. Darling. Okay. And Bhakti Trupti, on the behalf of Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parampara, I'm also accepting you today as my initiated disciple. And you have also a very beautiful name. You have a name of, well, it's Radharani's name. It means she can deliver everyone. Your new name is Tarani Radhika Devi Dasa. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I'll write it down if you have to. Huh? I'll be back. Yes, right here. Sorry. You can get up. You can get up then. These aren't marked, but I think they're yours, right? Which one's this one? Okay. Okay, so we'll call Prema Bhakti and Narayan. Please come. Very inspiring for me today to see the two of you coming to this point. I've known both of you since you were a lot smaller. And I'm sure your parents must be very happy to see that you... Huh? They're watching. Oh, very good. Very good. So your parents are... Their parents are my godbrothers and godsisters. And, oh, Prema, I remember when she was quite young. How old were you when I first started coming?
8.
8? Uh-huh. You were older. Yeah. You were older. Okay. So maybe you can tell me what vows you're accepting today.
Maharaj, I'll chant 16 rounds every day. No meat, no fish, no eggs, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex.
Thank you.
I thought I'd chant 16 rounds minimum every day. And I vowed to follow 4 regulative principles: no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling.
Thank you. So on behalf of Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Parampara, I'm accepting you, both of you, today as my initiated disciples. And I asked them first, sometimes the youth, they like to keep their old names. So I keep them, but I didn't keep them in this case. They said, no, it's okay. So we have given you a new name. Your new name is Nitai Gauranga Das. Hare Krishna. And Prema Bhakti, I've given you a name of Radharani, who is the abode of playfulness and love. I'm keeping part of your name. Your new name is Prema Vilasini. Maybe that's Hare Krishna. Now we have Divesh and Puja. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Whose beats are the... Oh. Yeah, okay. What vows are you taking today?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I will chant minimum of 16 rounds every day. I will follow 4 regulative principles. No illicit sex, no intoxication, no meat eating, no gambling.
Thank you. Puja?
Chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra 16 round every day minimum, and I will follow the 4 regulative principle of no intoxication, no illicit sex, no meat eating, no gambling. Krishna.
Thank you very much. On behalf of Srila Prabhupada and the Guru Parampara, I'm accepting you today as my initiated disciple, and your new name is Damodar Swarup Das. Damodar. Swarup is a very intimate associate of Lord Chaitanya. Swarup Damodar. And I'm also accepting you today as my initiated disciple on behalf of Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parampara. I've given you a name of Radharani who has eyes as beautiful as a lotus. Your new name is Padmalochani Devi Dasi. Your bead bags. Whose is who? This one?
Yeah.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Jyotsna? What vows are you taking today?
Chant 16 rounds every day. No meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication.
Thank you. On behalf of Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parampara, I'm accepting you today as my initiated disciple. And your new name is Janavarani Devi Dasi. Feedback. Everybody's going to think I'm keeping feedbacks here. It's just my bad memory. Okay. And we have Bhakti and Kate. What vows are you taking today?
Chant a minimum 16 rounds every day. No intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling, no meat eating, fish or eggs.
Thank you very much. I'll give you your lead back first.
Thank you.
On behalf of Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Parampara, I am giving you a name of Radharani, who is as beautiful as a lotus flower. Your new name is Kamala Radha Devi Dasi. Hare Krishna. Okay?
Now what we're going to do is Kaya Yagya. I'll start ignite. I'll invoke the fire. We'll chant Purusha Sukta, which are ancient Rig Vedic mantras. Yeah. And then the Mangala Chart. You'll all, every time I say Swaha, you can throw some grains. You're not getting refilled, so just pace yourself. Just enough. It's not about the amount, it's that it's appropriate for the fire, so it should be consumed. So just enough that fits in between these two fingers, you can put it in, okay? Try and get it into the fire. Not into, you can come closer. Om Chandrama Manaso Jataha Chaksho Suryo Achayata Mukat Indraschagnishcha Prana Vayurajayata Om Bhurvuvassu Bhar Om Om Agnivede Purohitam Yajnasya Devam Ritwijam Hota Aram Ratnadatama Hari Om Ishe Dhorjeto Bhayavasto Devo Vasavitat Prarpayatu Srestatamaya Karmane Hari Om Om Agnaya Ahi Voitoyai Toyai Nai Hoa Tasa Tsai Hoa Ishi Hari Om Om Shanno Divira Vishtaya Bhavantu Bhitaye Shanyora Vishwavantu Naha Hari Om Shanti 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 Om Tad Vishnu Paramam Padagam Sada Pashyanti Suraya Divi Vachaksharatam Davripaso Vipanyabo Jagravagum Sastamindate Vishnu Arya Paramam Padagam Om Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Bhuswaha Airam Narayana Airam Namama Om Bhavaswa Swanishta Dasan Bhulam Swaha Purusha Evedagum Sarvam Yadbhutam Yadshabhavyam Uthamritatva Sheshyanaha Yadannena Tirohati Swaha Airam Krishna Airam Namama Om Etavan Asya Mahima Ato Jaya Gusya Purushaha Adosha Vishva Bhutani Tripar Asyamhritam Divi Swaha Airam Krishna Airam Namama Om Tasma Dhiradajayata Dhirajo Adipurushaha Sajato Atyarishyata Pasyadhom Hinato Puraha Swaha Airam Krishna Airam Namama Om Yat Purushena Havisha Deva Yagyamadan Vata Vasanto Asya Sir Ajam Grishma Idma Sharadhavehi Swaha Iram Krishna Iram Namama Om Saptasya Sanbharidaya Tri Sapta Samida Kritaha Deva Yadyagyam Dhanvanaha Avadan Purusham Vasham Swaha Iram Krishna Iram Namama Om Dhamyagyam Bharhishe Praukshanne Purusham Jatama Grata Tena Deva Ayajanta Sadhya Rishayaschaye Swaha Iram Krishna Iram Namama Om Tasmad Yajñat Sarvabhutaha Sambhrutam Bhrisharajam Vashagastagaschakre Bhayavyane Adhanyang Gramyaschaye Swaha Iram Krishna Iram Namama Om Tasmad Yajñat Sarvabhutaha Vrichasamani Jagnire Chanda Tumsi Jagnire Tasmat Yachus Tasmat Ajayata Swaha Iram Krishna Iram Namama Om Tasmat Ashwa Ayachanta Yeke Chopaya Tataha Gavoha Jagnire Tasmat Jata Achavaya Swaha Iram Krishna Iram Namama Om Yat Purusham Yadadaha Katita Dekalpayanne Mukham Kimasya Kaubhahu Kahuru Pada Bhuchete Swaha Iram Krishna Iram Namama Om Hatmanosya Mukamasid Bahurajanya Kritaha Urutarasya Yadvaishyaha Abhya Kumshudro Ajayata Swaha Iram Krishna Iram Namama Om Chandrama Manaso Jataha Chaksho Surya Ajayata Mukhat Indrascha Agnischa Pranat Vayurajayata Swaha Iram Krishna Iram Namama Om Chandrama Manaso Jataha Chaksho Surya Ajayata Mukhat Indrascha Agnischa Pranat Vayurajayata Swaha Iram Krishna Iram Namama Om Nabhya Asid Antariksham Shirshnaudhya Samavartata Abhyam Bhumirdhishasrotraat Tata Loka Kummakalpayanne Swaha Iram Krishna Iram Namama Om Heda Hametam Purusham Mahantam Adhityavarnam Tamasastupare Sarvani Rupani Vichintya Dhiraha Namani Kritva Bhivadane Araste Swaha Iram Krishna Iram Namama Om Dhata Purastarya Mudha Jahara Shakra Pravidvam Pratischatasraha Tamevam Vidvam Amrita Ihavavate Nanyah Panta Ayanaya Vidyate Swaha Iram Krishna Iram Namama Om Yagyena Yagyamaya Janta Devaha Tani Dharmani Pratamanya Te Hanakam Mahimana Sachante Yadra Purve Sadhya Shanti Devaha Swaha Iram Krishna Iram Namama Om Bhuswaha Iram Vishnaveram Namama Om Bhuvaswaha Iram Chitairam Namama Om Saswaha Iram Narayana Namama Om Bhargavaswaha Iram Anantairam Namama. So now we'll do the Mangala Chart, and I'll lead it. You can repeat it after me. We'll do it in sections. I'm going to do big chunks, not like syllable by syllable. If you don't know it, then now you can learn it. Om Ajnana Yamarandhasya Yananjana Shalakaya Rakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Manobhishtam Napitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Tata Mahyam Dadati Swapatantikam Swaha Om Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragnatambitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lita Shri Vishakam Vitanscha Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Amen Iti Namine Nirvishesha शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे स्वाहा विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती नामिने स्वाहा श्रीभर्षवानिभिः भयिताय भक्तये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान हरिणे भवे नमः मधुर्योज्वल श्रीरूपानुगा भक्तिदा श्री गौर करुणशक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते स्वाहा नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दिनधारिणे रूपानुगा सिद्धांत भांत हरिणे स्वाहा नमो घोर किशोराय षड्वैराग्य मूर्तये प्रलंभ संबोधे धम्भुजाय नमः नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानंद नामिने गौर शक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगा रायते स्वाहा गौरवीर्भाव निर्देष्टा सजना प्रिया वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः पंचकल्प गुरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः स्वाहा 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 नमो महाधन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतुषे नमः पंचतत्वकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपं स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं स्वाहा हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकाकांत राधाकांत नमोस्तुते स्वाहा जयतं सुरतो भंगोर मंदेर मंदामतेर गति मत्सर्वस्व धम्भोजौ राधा मदन मोहन स्वाहा Divyad, Vrindaranya, Kalpa, Rumadha, Shrimad, Ratnagara, Simhasanastau, Shrimad, Radha, Shila Govinda Devo, Prashtalibhi, Sevhyamano, Smarami, Swaha, Shriman, Rasa, Rasarambhi, Amshivata, Tashtita, Karshan, Renu, Swanair, Gopinata, Shreyastunaha, Swaha, Tapta Kanchana, Gaurangi, Radhe, Vrindavaneshwari, Rishabhanu, Suthe Devi, Pranamami, Hari Priya, Jaya Shri Krishna, Chaitanya, Prabhu, Nityananda, Shri Advaita, Gadadhara, Shivasadi, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Swaha, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare, 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 Rama, Rama, Hare, Hare, Rama, 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 Hare, 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 Swaha, Swaha, Hare, Hare, Krishna, Krishna, Hare, Krishna, 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 Hare, 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 Rama, Rama, Hare, Hare, Rama, 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 Hare, 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 Swaha, Swaha. So now we're going to do the final offering to the fire. So everyone can stand up. And this is a final offering. So you'll just place the banana, and I'll tell you when, so don't do it just yet. Just take the banana. The banana is not all of your karma going into the fire. Okay? The banana is just a last nice thing to offer to the Lord. Okay?
Thank you.
Take this. And then I'll chant the mantra, and then Maharaj will place the final offering with vetiver, coconut, sesame, jasmine, betel, pan, lotus. And we'll place it all into the fire. And then afterwards, you'll place your bananas around while we chant some final mantras. You can place it around the fire. Carefully, don't throw it. Okay? It's Agni. Yeah, you can put it around and then we'll put wood on top. No, into the pit. Into the pit. Yeah, just around it. We want to keep the fire strong enough to consume all of our. Om Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanetaya Jagaditaya Krishnaya Govindhaya Namo Namaha Swaha. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om. You can start placing your things in. Om Yagyena Yagyamaya Janta Devaha Tani Dharmani Pratamanya Sanne Te Hanakam Mahimana Sachante Yatra Purve Satya Shanti Deva. Om Narayanaya Vidmahe Vasudevaya Dhimahi Tanna Vishnu Prachodayate. Om Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shanti Shanti Prithvi Shanti Apa Shanti Vayu Shanti Deja Shanti Oshadaya Shanti Loka Shanti Brahmana Shanti Vaishnava Shanti Shanti Rastu Tirtharastu Om Shanti 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 Om Anga Hiram Kriya Hiram Vidhi Hiram Chaya Thave Asitat Sarvam Apshindram Krishna Karshna Prasadataha Yakinjad Vaiguram Jatam Dadosha Pashmanaya Shri Krishna Smaranam Karome Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Now we'll chant one final mantra for Ashirvadam for all these new initiates. So I'll chant it on behalf of everyone. But you all pray for them that they continue with this life that they've now surrendered to the Lord and His devotees, and that they continue with that goal of attaining Krishna Prema. Om Tat Yajamanam Sarvam Kamam Avarundate. Om Tat Yajamanam Tat Yajamanam Sarvam Yajamanam Tat Yajamanam Sarvam Yajamanam Sarvam Kamam Sarvam Yajamanam Sarvam Kamam Sarvam Kamam Avarundate Kamam Sarvam Kamam Avarundate. Om Tat Yajamanam Sarvam Kamam Avarundate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila Niranjana Swami Maharaj ki, Jai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari. Kirtan.
Kacharya Sutara Sutta Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhaichara Naravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Garbhaja Kacharya Asatara Sutta Shri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Paramsika Hoshi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasili Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Ki Jai. Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mahi Ki Jai. Jamuna Mahi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Srimati Tulsi Maharani Ki Jai. Shri Shri Goni Kai Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Go Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Glories to Shri Prabhupada. So we have some